Ladies and gentlemen, let's go racing here at Knoxville.
Only the best go 3 abreast.
It is show time at Williams Grove Speedway.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here at Eldora Speedway, it's showtime!
Often imitated, never duplicated, the greatest show on dirt, the world of outlaws.
It's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy because, ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime!
Set to do battle for 30 laps. The green flag is waving.
So I'm sitting here geeked up about sprint car racing. And I'm like, man, I'm so pumped. And I'm like, what on God's green earth with this lousy March weather has given me anything to be pumped up about sprint car racing? So I'm like, it's a weird spot. I'm Steve Post, that's Erin, she's Erin Evernham, this is Wing Nation. But then we had one race and it was spectacular. I mean, it was, well, you know, it's like, here we go, Posse gonna win, Outlaw gonna win. Rico says, hold my beer. Y'all settle down. Posse is 0 for 1, Outlaws are 0 for 1. I'm just taking this one, my $10,000 to California. So we have one race, but I'm like, I'm so pumped up, and I'm like, what on God's green earth has made me pumped up about it? Because we're getting rained out every freaking weekend.
I know. It is a little depressing.
We
always said they went to the West Coast and they'd all get rained out. Well, now they're on the East Coast and they're getting all
I mean, and we have Brock Zierfoss coming up this weekend on our MAV TV and Rev TV show, Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit. We have that him on there, and you know, I mean, I guess if you look at it, he's sitting in Pennsylvania at home instead of hotels in California. Even he said the Midwest teams, the Indy teams, can stay home and shoot over to Pennsylvania if they need to, or to Alabama or wherever. Once you're once you cross those Rocky Mountains, you're there.
Yeah, it saves them money, but for us fans, it's still the same result.
Well, exactly. The result is the same. We need to get Mother Nature to cooperate. So I'm pumped. But I'm like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, what has me geeked up about it? I think the optimism.
Maybe there's some anticipation.
Anticipation, that's what it is. Because it's going to be a heck of a year.
I know. I was all excited Friday night. We were actually on our spring break trip with Kate in Florida. I was all excited Friday night to turn on Williams Grove, and I hadn't had my social media on at all. And I get back, we turn it on, and get everyone watching. All these kids are going to watch. I'm like, oh, raining.
Yeah,
canceled.
exactly. They canceled.
I was like, so yes, I understand the.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think it's the anticipation. Yeah. And then really, and I think it ties into Lincoln, Rico, just out of the blue, drops in and just whoops them all.
First race of the year for him, too.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
Impressive.
It's cool. I talked to Lance a little bit last week at Millbridge, and, you know, he's feeling good about his program, uncertainty about the tires and everything. So maybe talking to Lance got me a little pumped up, because you never go backward when you talk to Lance DeWeese. I don't know. It's just weird. I'm sitting here, I'm geeked up about it. I'm like, well, what has got me geeked up? And it has to be the anticipation. So I don't know. Who knows? Man, we just need some racing, though. And this weekend's forecast is no gem.
No.
You know, I mean, someone might be able to sneak one in somewhere, but it's no gem.
No. It's a tough time of the year.
Well, it is. It really is. You know, I used to work for a guy in Pennsylvania. We're a Friday night track. And he would start 2 weeks prior to Memorial Day on Friday nights and end on Labor Day week.
Yeah.
And he just was like, I ain't going to make money I might hit a home run in March and April, might hit a home run. Friday nights are tough in September and October because of high school football.
Yeah.
I may hit a home run in March and April, or I might lose my keister. But I know between Memorial Day and Labor Day,
you're good.
You're good. And so he did that. And I'm just like, I sit back and I watch this, and you know, you look at the crowd at the Thursday night race at Lincoln that they rescheduled, and it's like, my gosh, you hit a home run, and then they got another one in, or they got 2 more in. Port didn't get the World of Outlaws in. Poor Williams Grove is shut out, and it's like, well, are we good or are we bad on this? And I don't know the answer. You know, but
part of it, right?
It is. It really is. Everyone wants to be first out of the box. Because when you hit it right, when you hit it right, oh my gosh, they're still counting money at Lincoln from that opening night. I mean, which is great, which is good. So we'll see what happens with it. Let's get to our Hefner Racing product hot topics. It was the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars Saturday at Lincoln. Rico Abreu, first race out, Ricky Warner. Ricky's going to join us next week on the program. He had some stuff going on today. We wanted to dial up Ricky today. First race of the season. I mean, I was looking at it. He ran the Chili Bowl, and I don't even know that he's done any midget racing since then.
Yeah.
He talked, Jeremy Ellett had an interview with Rico. We tried to get Rico. He had stuff going on. Everyone's got stuff going on today but us. But he talked to him, and he just got away. He just got away. And then rolls into Pennsylvania and takes the big check.
Something
and
to be said for that.
Something to be said for that. It really is. So Rico, Brad Sweet, and Devin Borden. Devin Borden is going to join us today. So we are going to talk to Devin Borden about this. And I think it's really cool that he had his career first podium World of Outlaw finish. He had a nice run. He had a really nice run. So good stuff. You know, the new tire. We'll talk a little bit to Devin about that. We'll talk to Ricky next week about that and see what we've learned about it. It's very early in the process.
I was going to say, I didn't hear much chatter. I mean, all I'm looking at is social media. I don't talk to too many people on the road, but I'm curious. Yeah,
I'm curious as to what they learned about it. Yeah. So we'll see what happens with it. They had 360 racing in California. I watched the highlight of this one from Placerville. First off, it was Placerville. Okay. Mm-hmm. And it was, you know, elbows up Placerville. And I think they start 24 cars. There were cars everywhere, especially in front of the leaders. And Tanner Carrick and Shane Golobic and Justin Sanders in and out of traffic. I mean, it was bonkers. They're bouncing around. The cars are jumping around. They're dive bombing. They're inside. They're out. They're 3 wide on lap cars. It came to the line. Golobic led the white flag lap. He went down into turn number 4, slid up the racetrack. Justin Sanders crossed him under, and I think it was like 0.079 seconds. He won the race. It was incredible. Placerville, I am telling you, that place, just every time you watch a highlight from that place, it's just incredible. So Justin Sanders got the win there, and Dustin Hames, I believe it is, won over at Marysville. So we get some 360 racing in California. Mm-hmm. We get one measly old World of Outlaw race, and that's all we got. That's all we got. So, but a lot of speculation, a lot of talk, we're getting to that point now where drivers are starting to state their intentions. High Limits keeps adding. All-Stars are adding, which is not a shocker. The All-Stars, they don't start points until April 10th or 11th or whatever it is at Attica. So not a shocker that, you know, when you start the World of Outlaw Tour, you need to kind of commit to it in February. Yep. When you start the All-Star Tour, and then High Limits didn't run to Larry, well, that was supposed to be tonight. Yeah, it was supposed to be tonight, got rained out. Their point season doesn't start for a few more weeks at Lakeside. So we're starting to get to that point now. We're starting to get a clear vision. And there's a lot of drivers that look like they're trying to do the All-Stars and High Limits, which is a great combination. Mm-hmm. But there's 1 week in August or July that is they're somewhere in the Midwest and Grandview 2 nights back to back. And it's like, I'm not sure how they're going to do this. Now, it's going to be fascinating to see, but it's good. And I think that's part of the anticipation, too, is High Limits is going to be fascinating to see what it does. Yeah. World of Outlaws are going to be bonkers. You can if the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint cars are coming to your area, go online now and buy your tickets. Because you don't know who's going to be, what's going to be, who the locals, who are this. It's going to be bonkers. It's going to be great. And it looks like everyone else is shaping up well as well. So there you have it. Our Hefner Racing product, Hot Topics. You know, we talk a lot about sprint car racing and wings and mules and everything, but HRP also loves karting. From sprint to road racing to winged outlaw karts, HRP Streeter Superstands are the #1 selling brands for karting.
They have automatic electric lifts, rolling stands, stackers to carry multiple carts. And just like sprint cars, HRP has tire racks, engine racks, speed breakers, and a whole line of kart racing accessories.
www.hrpracing.com. That's hrpracing.com. Colton Gauss going to join us. BAPS kicks off the season. Man, they've been making headlines. They're slinging money all over the place.
I was going to say, a big point fund.
Yes, exactly. So we're going to talk to Colton a little bit later on. But when we come back, Devin Borden joins us on the Sage Fruit Hotline. Stay with us.
Dirt Empire Magazine is the ultimate dirt track racing only magazine in the world, featuring interviews, opinions, event photos, tech, and 100% racing action. Each issue includes late models, modified sprint cars, and more. Big event photos from the best photographers in the sport, and great one-on-one interviews with the top drivers as well as grassroots racers. Pick up a copy of Dirt Empire Magazine today at select Tractor Supply stores or other area retailers, or get your subscription today at dirtempiremagazine.com. Dirt Empire Magazine is the ultimate dirt track racing.
The Outlaws are headed back to the Pacific Northwest. Join us for 3 action-packed nights of racing August 31st, September 1st and 2nd at Skagit Speedway when the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars return for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals. Kickoff for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals begins Wednesday, August 30th with a pre-race party, live band, Sage Fruit apple giveaways, and more. Then catch Donnie Schatz and the rest of the World of Outlaws as they take on Washington's best sprint car drivers Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. Details at SkagitSpeedway.com. So many things good happening in the sprint car world, including young talent. And we've talked about this, Erin, over the course of time. What we love about this is we love seeing our Donnie Schatz's, our Lance Deweese's, Dale Blaney's coming back. We had him on our TV show. We love seeing this. And equally, we love the young talent. And a driver that is certainly making his name known up in the Keystone State is 20-year-old Devon Borden, third year over there in Pennsylvania. First podium finish Saturday night with the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars, and joining us right now on the Sage Fruit Hotline. Hello, Devin. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
We are doing well. We appreciate the time, that's for sure. And just kind of describe how things went for you Saturday night. You turned a lot of heads. You had some really good racing, and you came out of there with your career first podium finish with the Outlaws. Tell us about it.
5 times around.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really good, solid night for us. It just feels super good to be running up front with, the best in the world. So, we just keep getting better and better, keep working hard. And, it's just really cool. I'm just super, super blessed and thankful to be in this Shellsworth Stamen 23. My guys work super hard day in and day out. And, it's just super cool to see the results finally showing for it.
Devin, I think that was your 11th top 5 at Lincoln in your short career in Pennsylvania. What is it about Lincoln that suits your driving style?
I don't know. I mean, obviously I come from the West Coast, and I think Lincoln is the most similar track to kind of what I grew up on out of everywhere around here. So obviously I think it's that, it's just kind of a elbows up, get after it kind of racetrack, and creates for really exciting racing, and it's definitely has been probably my best track since I come here. Just because it's kind of, all these big tracks I feel like I'm starting to get down now too. But Lincoln was the place that I was kind of the most comfortable with right off the bat.
As you're having a race like you are on Saturday night, and you're in and out of lap traffic. We get to lap 20 and you pass Brad Sweet. This is Brad Sweet, by the way. This is your reigning and 3-time, 4-time World of Outlaw. Do you ever just kind of, are you so focused on the race you don't think about it, or does that even cross your mind what you're doing?
I mean, really, I just try to stay calm, and I knew that, at one point there, I really thought we were going to get him, but I didn't try to let that get to my head. I just try to stay calm, and didn't want to do anything stupid. And, like I said there at one point, I really thought we were going to have him, but then the next thing you know, Rico got going really good through the middle and drove around both of us. So I was just happy to be, running up front and, battling with those guys for a win. So, I kind of settled into third there once Rico drove around us, and was just, was fine with running third, and rolled in the trailer one piece with the podium. So, I just didn't want to get too worked up, and just try to stay calm, cool, and collective more than anything.
Devin, how important or how big is it for your confidence to start, not just start off the year right now, but to get this podium with the World of Outlaws? It's got to be a good boost to start the year off with.
No, it definitely is. It's huge, This whole deal is all about mindset, and when you can go out and I've really started out the year like we have. I know our results haven't been there the whole time, but we definitely have had the speed, and I think we've turned some heads and have shown people that we're going to be right there this year. And I think people are seeing, and it's really big. I feel really good in the race car right now. I'm feeling like this is our year to make it happen, and I'm just super excited to really get the season rolling.
Devin, your 3 years in Pennsylvania have been fascinating. You've been 3 years, three different teams. You had your own team for a little bit. Then you got with Mike Hefner, which is a great, great team there in Pennsylvania. You had some results there, but nothing spectacular. Then Jim Shuttlesworth decides him and Stamen, they're going to form their own racing team, and you're picked to drive that car. What does that mean when a guy like Jim Shuttlesworth picks you to drive their car, and what does that do to your confidence level as you guys start to piece this and put this all together?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, obviously Jim Shuttlesworth is probably, one of the best, if not the best, crew chiefs in Pennsylvania. So when he wants you to drive his race car, it's pretty badass to say the least. There's a lot of pressure that comes with it, but there's no more pressure on me that I wouldn't put on myself. So. Yeah, I mean, I really feel like we're hitting it off right now, and we're meshing really well. And like I said, I'm just so excited to get going and racing with each other more and more, and just keep learning and keep getting better.
Devin, along those same lines, after the race on Saturday, you said, I think in your interview after the race, that you didn't think you'd be here this soon. Is there a realistic goals that you guys have set long term, or is it just kind of surreal to be, like Steve mentioned, passing or almost passing Brad Sweet?
Yeah, I mean, what I meant by that more than anything was, just like, I mean, I came here a couple of years ago being an absolute no-namer, nobody at all, and it's just crazy how quick everything has happened, landing this ride and getting in with some of the best people in the sport. Mm-hmm. That I feel like this has been our year to run top three with Outlaws and be right there and be one of the best teams in Pennsylvania. So I don't find that as surprising, honestly, just because I really feel like we're going to make it happen, but more than anything, just that I'm in this whole situation this soon, it's just crazy. So, yeah, it's just really awesome.
Devin, I want to go back 3 years ago, okay? And what I love about sprint car racing is that there's so many ways that guys and gals are skinning the cat, are racing. You got everything from the Brian Brown method to the Lance DeWeese method to this one to that one. Everyone's got their way of doing things. You're sitting in Washington, okay? And we all understand Pennsylvania, but the Macedo kids go to Ohio. Trey Starks, he goes to Knoxville and does it. What was the decision for you to go to the state of Pennsylvania? With your own race team, just drag your own race car over there and say, here I am. What was that decision, the process to get to that point?
Well, so that year we were actually on the ASDS National Tour, and the tour was actually going through Pennsylvania to begin with. And we decided to do, it was actually Don Ott that kind of told us to come in a week early, and he was going to help work on our car and even put a 410 in the car for us. Like, we didn't even have a 410 at the point. So, yeah, he told us to come on in, and it was, I think it was a week or two early, and get a couple races in before that national race. And those couple races is really what kind of turned my whole career in the right direction more than anything. So, yeah, I mean, it's just that year, my dad kind of just said, look, this is the most I'm going to be able to do. You're going to have to make it happen this year, or, I'm not going to be able to keep doing this. And luckily enough, I think we got here and with Don, and he believed in me and saw that we could be good together, and luckily enough we were. And I think if it wasn't for Pennsylvania, I don't think I would be where I'm at now at all. This place, Pennsylvania, is like, I feel like it's the holy grail of sprint car racing in a way. I mean, you got the Midwest and Ohio and Knoxville, but I feel like this place, it's just really cool that you got so many tracks so close together and how much you can race. It's just really awesome.
Devin, outside of the car, how different is the East Coast versus the West Coast? You spent your first 17 years in Washington State. Now you're in Pennsylvania. Talk about the difference in just the lifestyle, especially the fans. We know the PA fans are enthusiastic, we'll say. But what has life been? How different has it been outside the car?
I mean, honestly, like I haven't done a lot. Like I'd like to get out more and, you know, kind of check out the state and kind of check. I know there's a lot of history and stuff here, but really, like I've just been at the race shop, like just, you know, pretty much from the time I've been here, just working on race cars. So I haven't had a lot of time to go out and do much. But the state is really cool. You know, everyone has been really welcoming and really cool. Washington, like where I'm from, is there's a lot more green, and kind of where I'm from, it's kind of more of a forest type of place, and it rains a lot, you know, and it doesn't get super sunny and hot like it does here, and humid. Like that's one of the biggest differences. Like the first year I was here, it just seemed it was crazy. Like I come back here in the middle of summer, about Speedway time, and I could not believe how hot and humid it was. Like I was not used to that. So I think the weather is, you know, one of the biggest differences. But outside of that, you know, it's just you know, I like I said, I kind of just been working on this racing deal, and that's about it. So I haven't got out.
Nothing wrong with that. That's for sure. We've caught up with you. You are at the race shop. Are there specific things that you're overseeing at the race shop, or are you just kind of general mechanic? Are there specific things you work on when you're at the race shop, or is it a little bit of everything?
Just a little bit of everything. Like we got, you know, Jim is here full time, and Mike Danner and Jeff Weaver. So it's actually all four of us here full time at the race shop. So we just work together on everything, and you know, just try to make the program the best we can. John and Kelly Stamen have been absolutely wonderful. Like they're the absolute best car owners you could ever ask for. Like they've treated us all so well, and we're just all so blessed to you know, be in this situation. But no, I mean, yeah, we just kind of all work on everything together, and try to get the most organized we can, and try to build the best and fastest race cars that we can. So that's about it.
Mission accomplished, I would say. The game plan for this year, stick to Pennsylvania, some road trips, some plans to be determined. What do you guys have planned here?
So it'll mainly just be all of Pennsylvania. We're planning on running the points at the Grove and Port Royal on a week-to-week basis, and then we're going to get out to the Eldora Million and just try to fill in our schedule as much as we can with everything around here. So that's about it.
Huh, that's plenty.
Yeah.
That's for sure. That's plenty, no doubt about it. Devin, congratulations. Yeah. Good God Almighty, man! When that weather, we're going to go from bored to death
100.
with no racing. Yep. We're going to go from 0 to 100, because once they start in Pennsylvania, they're just throwing races everywhere around the board. So, which is great. It's fantastic. Devin, congratulations on the great run. Appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us. Continued success.
Yep. Thank you guys for having me on.
There we go. Devin Borden joining us here on Wing Nation on the Sage Fruit Hotline. Man, did a nice job. A good guy. Good young
sure
kid.
Did.
Good
20
young
years
kid.
old. Very well
20
spoken.
years old. You imagine that, 17 years old, saying, I'm going to move all the way across the country with my sprint car and go racing.
Yeah.
Well, you can imagine that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Why not?
Why not? Exactly. Good stuff. And how about it working out all right, too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So far,
like
so
that.
pretty darn good.
Kind of like that, that's for sure. Speaking of working out all right, how about you're a mechanic for Casey Kane Racing and you decide not to travel across the country? You decide to go become general manager at a racetrack in the state of Pennsylvania. Well, that's Colton Gauss' story, and he joins us next here on Wing Nation. The Outlaws are headed back to the Pacific Northwest. Join us for 3 action-packed nights of racing August 31st, September 1st and 2nd at Skagit Speedway, when the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars return for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals. Kickoff for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals begins Wednesday, August 30th with a pre-race party, live band, Sage Fruit apple giveaways, and more. Then catch Donnie Schatz and the rest of the World of Outlaws as they take on Washington's best sprint car drivers Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. Details at SkagitSpeedway.com. The Outlaws are headed back to the Pacific Northwest. Join us for 3 action-packed nights of racing August 31st, September 1st and 2nd at Skagit Speedway when the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars return for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals. Kickoff for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals begins Wednesday, August 30th with a pre-race party, live band, Sage Fruit apple giveaways, and more. Then catch Donnie Schatz and the rest of the World of Outlaws as they take on Washington's best sprint car drivers Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. Details at SkagitSpeedway.com.
The National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum's newest exhibit will be our track tribute to Williams Grove Speedway inside the museum's main floor from April 3rd through October 2nd this year. You'll learn about the beginning of Williams Grove Speedway and the evolution of sprint car racing on the East Coast through 8 of the iconic big cars and sprint cars that made up the history of Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania's Williams Grove Speedway. Plus, you'll see videos of historic National Open sprint car races and other racing events that put Williams Grove on the map. That's the track tribute to Williams Grove Speedway, featured April 3rd through October 2nd at the only museum in the world solely dedicated to sprint car racing, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville, Iowa.
Man, oh man, good stuff, that's for sure. We appreciate you joining us here on Wing Nation. Let's go back to the Sage Fruit Hotline. Joining us from up in the state of Pennsylvania, it's All Pennsylvania Show. The general manager at BAPS Motor Speedway, Colton Gauss, joins us. Hello, Colton, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
We are doing well. Anticipation as you get ready for, well, you actually got a race in this past Saturday night, had the 358 modifieds there and racing. How are things looking? How is the anticipation? What's going on up there at BAPS Motor Speedway? Everything good?
Yeah, everything's good. Just trying to fight the weather like every other promoter in the country, but hopefully this weekend, at least for Sunday, it looks like we should have a pretty good day here for our first 410 race. So we're definitely looking forward to that. That's for sure.
Colton, you mentioned the weather is the topic of conversation for every promoter. I'm being a weather nerd myself. Is there an app that you prefer and go by? And how many weather apps do you have on your phone?
I think I have like 4 or 5 weather apps. If I could be the weatherman, I think that would be great.
Yeah.
It kind of seems like that's I don't want to say a hard or an easy job, but for whatever reason, it kind of seems like the one profession that kind of changes every day. So definitely not easy when you're trying to schedule a race with fans and race teams and sponsors, employees, and all that stuff. When you're constantly trying to monitor the weather and try to keep everybody happy.
No doubt. It is a challenge, that's for sure. Colton, we want to talk about a lot of different things with you, but the first thing that jumps out is when the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars unveiled their schedule. There you are, July 19th. I know it's kind of the goal of every track to get one of these dates, and you guys have been working hard to there. What's it mean to you to have the World of Outlaws coming to your place coming up in July?
I mean, it's definitely an exciting thing. Much like what you said, I think every racetrack, that's something that they kind of want to have on their schedule and, as a bucket list item for sure. And, we've just been kind of, the last 6 or 7 years, we've been in constant contact with them and, kind of putting our hand up and saying, hey, we're over here. And I think, this past winter, the schedule kind of opened up a little bit. We were able to have an opportunity to host a race. And I know, our community is excited. We're excited. And I think it's, as long as the weather's nice, I think it'll be a good event for everybody. And I know it's something that, we're definitely excited to be a part of the World of Outlaws schedule and their brand. And I think it'll be exciting for everybody. I mean, it'll be the first time in 30 years. So I think that's hopefully everybody will have that circled on their calendar.
Colton, without going into too much detail, when you said you've been in contact for 6 or 7 years, is that on some of it financial, some of it scheduling? How does that work to try to get your slot in there with the World of Outlaws?
Well, I spent 8 years on the road, so I knew Carter and Deary and some of those guys, and you just constantly, we see them at PRI, we see them at Williams Grove and Knoxville, and just constantly trying to, hey, we would love to have a race, and we've talked to several of the drivers, and I know there's been several drivers that have kind of gone to bat for us a little bit to, hey, you guys should check out the Speedway. So I think in all honesty, we had to pay our dues a little bit. Maybe 6 or 7 years ago, we probably weren't really ready to host an outlaw race right away. The first year we had the track, we only had 30 acres, now we have 100. So I think each year we've kind of been able to add some things that could help entertain the crowd, the fans, the teams, camping. We've kind of been able to add some stuff. The safety of the Speedway has gotten better. Some of the amenities and all that stuff, the lighting and all that stuff. So I think there was just, 6 or 7 years ago, we probably were not ready for one, even though I wanted to have one. But I feel a lot better now that we can offer a venue that will be easier for fans to arrive, camp, race teams, and put on a good show for the World of Outlaws. So I think we're definitely in a lot better spot now than what we were a couple years ago. So that's encouraging and exciting.
Yeah, it really truly is. I want to get into that a little bit further, but I do also want to talk about the rest of your 410 schedule because you have 10 additional races. You have the World of Outlaw race, and then the other 10 races are all part of your regular season, or you guys just announced last week a $20,000 point fund. How important is it for you to develop that point fund, to develop that schedule, to get some more money, to get more drivers in there? Just kind of how that all came about. I know you got a bunch of partners that have jumped on board with you with that as well.
Absolutely. So for the last couple of years, we've always had about one race a month for the 410 sprint cars, and just trying to be mindful of everybody else's schedule around us. We have our own weekly divisions, and, the cost of racing and everything is a struggle. So, for the last couple of years, we've been kind of just, sticking to one race a month and, just trying to add value to the entertainment world in Central PA with sprint car racing, but trying to kind of stay in our lane a little bit. And the last 2 years, we've been kind of bitten. Last year, definitely the worst with weather. We didn't get a sprint car race in, I think, till July. So last year was a little hard. And then, this off season, I started talking to a couple different drivers and some owners, and just said, if we would look at adding more sprint car races, is there any dates that you think maybe would stand out that, hey, I think this would be good? And as the off season kind of progressed, we started adding some more dates, and counting the World of Outlaw race, we have 11 at BAPS Motor Speedway in 2023. And then once we kind of got to that number, I kind of had a crazy idea of can we put a point fund together for these guys? And we started having some conversations with some people, and we had some sponsors that came on board. We got some other people that came on to help that wants to be anonymous, and we were able to put this $20,000 point fund together for the top 10 in points for our sprint car races. Now we will not count the World of Outlaw race in that point fund, so it'll be basically our 10 regular 410 races. But I think the key is, and I hope everybody really appreciates this, is, that top 10 in points, that's fully guaranteed money. So if for whatever reason, if, we only get 5 races in, we're paying that $20,000 out. So, first place is going to get $5,000 and 10th place is going to get $1,000. So when you look at the payout per race ratio, it's pretty good. It's really good. So I think that was really key. And I'm really appreciative of the businesses and the people that came on board with that because, we want to put extra money in the pockets of these guys. The cost of racing's through the roof, and I think us being able to offer this extra incentive of the point fund will be good for everybody. And I think if anything, it'll make our races exciting. And hopefully, I think we got a good list of drivers that are going to run all of our races. And I know there's some other ones that are kind of putting some pen to paper and actually kind of searching for sponsors to come do our races. So we're just really excited, and I'm very grateful that we have some great partners that have come on our races. And I don't want to say the future is bright in Central PA, but I think hopefully we can add to that this year.
Yeah, well, I think that points fund is certainly a way to do that. What a neat bonus for everyone. Colton, you mentioned being mindful of other tracks and in the teams around you and the drivers. How difficult is that for a promoter in Pennsylvania when you have so many tracks within a short distance that all have such great reputations? How hard or easy is it maybe to negotiate where to fit in, how to work best with everyone?
It's definitely a struggle.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough because the tough part with everything is every racetrack is running a business, and everybody is fighting for those same entertainment dollars. Everybody's fighting for kind of the same dates. It definitely is a struggle. It's not easy at all, especially when you start getting some rainouts and everybody's kind of scrambling to figure out how they're going to make races up, and there's definitely a lot to it. And especially when you got sponsors and season pit passes and grandstand passes and all that stuff, it definitely complicates things. But I think ultimately everybody kind of knows the industry that we're in, and I think to the most part everybody works as close as everybody can. But I think everybody also knows that sometimes it's just some circumstances are just kind of hard to get around. But I think we saw with the World of Outlaws this past weekend, Port laying down one weekend, Lincoln did the same thing. I think everybody just tries to work as close as they can and try to do the best they can for everybody. I mean, we certainly don't want to split up fans or car counts by any means, but it's definitely a challenge, that's for sure.
I am certain of that, that's for sure, yeah. Colton, one of the things that I've respected so much about your approach and Scott's approach is your patience. And two dates jump to mind to me. A Speed Weeks date, which for years and years, it was like, why isn't BAPS on Speed Weeks? Why isn't BAPS on Speed Weeks? And you finally were able to get into Speed Weeks. And then I see the Kevin Gobrecht Classic, which is in the Pennsylvania month of money, September 23rd there. How challenging is it for you personally to have the patience to see these things through to where they should be? BAPS should have been on the Pennsylvania Speed Week calendar forever. We all understand that. How challenging has it been for you to be patient, but how rewarding is it to see the Outlaws, September date, Speed Week's now part of your calendar?
That's a tough question, really, because it is tough. I think, and when I say this, I think this is for any new promoter anywhere in the country. Whether they run late models, sprint cars, modifieds, wherever, you want to be a part of everything. Whether it's Speed Weeks or World of Outlaw race or All Stars or Lucas Oil. And I think sometimes, the saying is, good things will come. And I think we've been patient and, working with people and building relationships and, showcasing that, we are working to become better, from a facility standpoint, a community partner. I think sometimes when you get into any sport, sometimes people just want to kind of sit back and see, hey, are these guys for real, or are they just saying, hey, we're going to do all this? And I think that's kind of been our approach, that we just got to be patient, and sometimes it can be frustrating because you are working hard and you're putting in the hours and stuff like that. But we're definitely, I'm grateful to be a part of PA Speed Week. I think Alan has done an awesome job taking that to where it is today, and we're glad to be a part of that. I think with the World of Outlaws, same thing. We're glad to be a part of that group, and I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but now we just need nice weather, and I know everybody in the country are kind of asking for the same thing. So all we can do is put the puzzle pieces together and try to put on the best event that we can for our fans, and hopefully it'll be good for everybody involved.
And it all starts with the sprint cars with the Acme Company's March Madness coming up this Sunday, that's for sure. Colton, the other, we've talked about 11 of your 41 dates. Everything else good with your weekly programs and Saturday night racing, Super Sportsman, you had 358 modified, you have Legends in there occasionally. Everything good for the rest of your season as well?
Yeah, I mean, our stuff's been good. I think there's 2 events on there that I think some people don't realize we have on there. We've had Lantern Fest on there for, this will be year 3 now, and that's kind of an event that's kind of foreign to people, but we get about 4,200 people at that event, which is really cool. And then actually this year we kind of have a really crazy idea in May. We're actually I got a company that we're partnered with, basically kind of like a World of Outlaws sanctioning group. And we're actually going to have a rodeo on the front stretch of the Speedway, which is really out in left field. But ironically, that is one event that is our number 1 selling ticket so far. So that'll be kind of a cool, crazy event. But I'll tell you what, some of these events have really allowed us to bring in some new partners and businesses into the Speedway that we've never really been able to kind of cultivate into our culture of racing. So we're really excited. I mean, I know Chuck thinks and does stuff with you guys with Sage Fruit, and I've known Chuck for 15 years, and they're getting really involved here in Central PA. I've been kind of knocking his door down here for the last couple of years to come to BAPS, and we just did a partnership with him in Wise Markets, and we're actually doing a pretty big community event here next Tuesday in our area. So I think things are good in racing. I think things can always be better, but I think at the end of the day, you get what you put into it, and I think at the end of the day, if everybody's working hard for the common goal to new fans, new sponsors, new events, it can only be good for the racetracks and everybody else involved. So I think if everybody works towards those goals, I think it'll be successful for everybody involved.
Okay, let's bridge this all together. Danny Dietrich riding a bull at that rodeo.
Well, the problem is I would love for him to come to that event, but he's going to be at Williams Grove for the World of Outlaw race.
Oh, man.
But trust me, I would love to have some type of driver be a part of that, because I think that would push ticket sales through the roof. Just because it's something crazy. That's what everybody loves about our sport and racing is it's crazy. It's exciting. You never know what's going to happen. So we're definitely glad to be a part of it.
Well, it was a good idea. We tried anyhow. Colton, we appreciate the time. We appreciate the energy, what you guys are doing up there. You and Scott are just doing amazing things. And we wish you the best this Sunday and on throughout the season. We'll talk to you down the road. But thanks for joining us here on Wing Nation.
Yeah, thank you for having us. I appreciate you guys taking the time and having me on the show. And hopefully your guys' schedules will allow, and maybe you guys can sneak in at some point this year for a race. I know you've been there in the past before, Steve. So hopefully you guys can come up here at some point.
I'm working on it. I might get a chance. there. Thanks, Colton. We'll see you. We'll talk to you down the road.
Yep. All right. Thank you.
There we go. Colton Gauss joining us from BAPS Motor Speedway. I love the puzzle that they're putting together.
Yeah.
And it's a puzzle of schedules. It's a puzzle of events, racing and non-racing. Yep. It's a puzzle of facilities. We had that B-roll footage. Those of you watching it, those grandstands in turn number 3 are not there by accident.
Yeah.
They're there so that when the World of Outlaws a couple of years later decide that they want to come up there, we got a place to sit butts over there. 30 acres to 100 acres. It's a puzzle, and I really like the way they're putting it together at BAPS Motor Speedway. We need to step away. Stay with us. More Wing Nation in just a moment. The Outlaws are headed back to the Pacific Northwest. Join us for 3 action-packed nights of racing August 31st, September 1st, and 2nd at Skagit Speedway when the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars return for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals. Kickoff for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals begins Wednesday, August 30th with a pre-race party, live band, Sage Fruit apple giveaways, and more. Then catch Donnie Schatz and the rest of the World of Outlaws as they take on Washington's best sprint car drivers Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. Details at SkagitSpeedway.com.
Dirt Empire Magazine is the ultimate dirt track racing only magazine in the world, featuring interviews, opinions, event photos, tech, and 100% racing action. Each issue includes late models, modified, sprint cars, and more. Big event photos from the best photographers in the sport, and great one-on-one interviews with the top drivers as well as grassroots racers. Pick up a copy of Dirt Empire Magazine today at select Tractor Supply stores or other area retailers, or get your subscription today at DirtEmpireMagazine.com.
Welcome back. It is Wing Nation. We're sitting here just shuffling paperwork and having the time of our life. All right. Big birthday week. big birthday week here. All the big timers have birthdays this week. Okay. Yesterday, Bob Trossel. Friday, Russ Clendenin. Okay. Later in the week, we have Albert Buddy Taylor. On Saturday, Spencer Riggs. Spencer is a 2020 inductee into the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame. He's a writer that grew up in Indiana, fell in love with racing at an early age, started writing, and the list of publications is a spectacular of all motorsports and really general journalism. National Speed Sport, Car and Driver, Indianapolis Star, and many more. Wrote 3 books, Langhorne, No Man's Land, the Indy 500 Chronicles, and then actually wrote 4 books, 2 books on the Indy 500 pace cars. And Spencer's birthday is this coming Saturday, and he is forever enshrined in the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. And one other birthday coming up this week. On Thursday, Erin Evernham's birthday.
Yeah,
Happy
did
birthday.
you like that I filled it in on your notes?
You filled that in on your notes. You weren't on the calendar, but
yeah,
you made it on the notes.
Come on, Bob Baker.
You got to do that. Well, but here's the thing. This is why maybe I miss this, okay? Because my other co-host is Ashley, and she has birthday months.
Well, I do too. I just haven't told you about it yet.
You've been kind of quiet about it. Now, Ashley, when it becomes birthday month for Ashley, I mean, we'll dial her up on Zoom, and there's banners and balloons and everything.
Man, well, where you guys have been slacking.
Well, no, she does that for herself. You need to bring your own.
She
in
doesn't
there.
go buy her own balloons, do we?
I don't know.
I'm texting her.
When she has birthday month, Ashley is serious about birthday month. So happy birthday month coming up on Thursday's the day.
It is.
But happy birthday month.
Yes.
Well, the month is almost over.
I know, that's what I'm saying,
this
Frederick.
is Erin. You've let us down.
I don't need all the attention. I just had to fill it in on your.
You need
notes.
Ashley.
You need a publicist or something.
I do.
You need a PR
for all
person.
that I'm doing, I need a PR person.
Well, no, you probably need a schedule keeper.
My 39 plus 3 birthday.
39 plus 3. Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. So that's where we're at with this. I wasn't going to ask.
Yeah,
exactly.
I went there. No
You
shame
went there.
in my
exactly.
game.
See, what I did, I went to 50, and I'm going backward. So I'm at 42 going to 41.
Oh, nice.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I did. That's how I'm doing mine. So there you go. Birthday. Hey, happy birthday. That's cool. We've got any big plans?
A horse show. Yeah, going to a horse show. I do have my sister and brother-in-law flying in from Connecticut, so it'll be fun.
Nice. That's good. That's good. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that we see some racing. World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars. Friday, Talladega Short Track. Saturday, Magnolia Motor Speedway in the Mississippi as they start to head west out to Texas next weekend. Okay. Friday night in season openers, Attica Raceway Park in Ohio, Williams Grove. I think this is Attica's second attempt, maybe third attempt. This is Williams Grove's third attempt at a season opener. Saturday, Ohio Valley Sprint Car Association. They're going to try again to get one in at Atomic over in Chillicothe. Weekly racing at Port Royal and Lincoln. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pumped because I'm going to see sprint cars this week. I've shared this over the course of time. Carolina Sprint Tour, their 2023 season opener. This is a Race Seaver 305 sprint car division here in the Southeast. Erin, you guys, when Ray was involved over at East Lincoln Speedway, you guys were big proponents of the 305 Race Saver program.
Yeah.
And this thing has been a fascinating journey. because they get going and then they split, and they get going and then they split. Sean Vardell has done a great job, and it appears that all the troops have behaved. There's a little splinter group that runs, they have 3 or 4 cars over at East Lincoln on a regular basis, but it appears that they do, and they've got a great schedule coming up, 15 events at 12 different tracks. They've added new racetracks in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Tennessee. So I think instead of just doing 27 races in North Carolina and burning everybody out on it, they're going 15 races. Yeah, you're going to put some more miles on the tow rig, but you're going to go to some places and be special. And we've talked about this a lot regarding Pete Walton. Pete Walton with USCS is preaching the sprint car gospel in stock car country, and that's what I think this Race Saver, this Carolina Sprint Tour schedule is. We're taking this to some storied late model tracks. Smoky Mountain Speedway, Travelers Rest, a big late model track. Tri-County Speedway, that's Ray Cook's track over in the east or west western part of the state. Livonia Speedway is a stock car track, so a lot of new racetracks on it. And I can't wait. This Saturday night, they kick it off at Harris Speedway. I've never been there. One of the goals I have this year is to get to more new racetrack, bucket list type things. And it is the closest racetrack to my house that I've not been to. So it'll be racetrack number 232 for me. I will tie Jason Johnson, has been to 232 racetracks. And when I saw that on the list, I was just kind of thinking about Jason, and it'll be to tie him and to be as many racetracks as he's been to means a lot. Jason was such a great part of our sport. But I'm really anxious to get over to Harris Speedway, and some little stuff on our social media along the way over the course of this weekend about my trip out there with the 305 sprint cars. It'll be fun. Fun weekend, that's for sure. So good stuff. Your horse showing, and I'm going sprint car racing with the 305s. Good stuff, that's for sure. Great program. You can follow along on all of this on our Twitter, on our Facebook, and on our YouTube page. You can get Wing Nation gear at shopwingnation.com. Those of you in Pennsylvania, I believe the Tom Book Motorsports Justin Peck car and hauler will be at Williams Grove and Port Royal this weekend. So that's going to be good. You can get your Wing Nation gear there. Coming up this weekend on Wing Nation, or coming up actually later this week, Wing Nation TV presented by Sage Fruit, Brock Zierfoss. Great visit. Ashley and I recorded it yesterday. Great visit with Brock Zierfoss. Love that kid. Yeah. Man, he is getting his teeth kicked in and getting back up and knocking the dust off himself. Went out and won. Of course, he won that early race years ago. I think it was 2017 at Williams Grove. Yeah. He went in there. He was the outlaw killer is what they called him. And then he goes on the tour. He won at Cedar Lake last year, and just watching him scratch and claw his way. Had a great visit with Brock. That'll be Wednesday night on Rev in Canada and MAV TV at 12:30 Eastern time on Friday here stateside. So good stuff with Brock Zierfoss, and good stuff as well with Devin Borden and with Colton Gauss. Fun talking to those guys for sure. It was. Absolutely. So we appreciate it. So appreciate those guys taking some time. She's Erin Evernham. I'm Steve Post. Thanks for joining us this week on Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit. We'll talk to you again soon.